What's going on, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. A lot of price action in Bitcoin. We're going to get you caught up on what's been going on and where this thing is going. A pretty decent drop. So we're going to take a look at our Delta chart. We'll also look at the GBTC premium because that's really important to tell us where the sentiment is from the retail side of things. We'll also look at some on-chain metrics. We haven't looked at this in a while, so we'll take a look at that. And also I wanted to talk about our gap chart and how price reacted off of that. So let's dive into this video, guys.
Trade Genius.
All right, guys, if you're interested in getting into the room with us, every day we're in there trading. Every day we've got winners in there. Head over, check out our special, $3.99. That's for a year in the room with us. Would love to see you in there. So check that out at tradelikeagenius.com or tradegenius.co. Okay, so, Bitcoin had some volatility as of late. Basically ran up. We had a bearish divergence on the RSI. So the pullback wasn't exactly a surprise. We did pull back into this weekly block. So this stems from, again, right back here. And prices really reacted to this level, both coming down from the top and then coming up from the bottom. And so we've pulled back into that level. So basically, I want to see this level hold. A lot of people have been talking about it's important to see the weekly close, above 9,500. But my take on it is that I want to see this block hold, which means I don't want to see a close below it, and basically looking for area of consolidation in here. Back to the daily chart, now that we see where that block is, we pulled back into it. If you look at the technical stochastics, we're starting to lose the stochastics, but you will see that on a trend up. Now, putting things into context, right, we are rising into the halving, pretty much expected. What's going to be the wild card is how much volatility we get in terms of pullbacks, how much consolidation we get, how long those last. And, you can look back and see how Bitcoin performs when it does get into its bull legs like we have here and like what we have here. And you'll notice that we will come up once we break the fast moving average, which is what we have here. Expect some chop, some sideways chop. We saw that on the move up to 14K. You had an area of consolidation here, area of consolidation here, and then that finally blew off, right? And then when the moves end, when these moves really end, this is the kind of candle bodies that you see. These are very long wicks, very long bodies, and we're not there yet. What we're seeing is the action kind of building up to that culmination into a bull move. So right now, this is just normal, healthy pullback. I know it seems kind of volatile with the big engulfing type candle that we've had here. But again, nothing that was ruining this move up so far. Okay, it's normal to have a little bit of consolidation, normal to break the faster moving average. What we don't want to see is this lower, slower moving average. Not uncommon to touch it, but we really don't want to see a daily close below it. All right, so this thing's climbing up. Currently, we're just north of 9,000 on that level. But also, what we want to key in on is the stochastic RSI is going to be bottoming here, and we expect this to move and cross up and tell us that there's going to be a bottom here within the next 3 to 4 days is usually how this pans out. The other thing is on an uptrend, RSI 50 will act as a floor on the technicals, and that's where we're at here now. So for a bull move pullback, this is basically what you want to see hold in here. Okay, so we don't really want to see RSI dip below 50. We want to see that hold, and we want to see this bottom and cross up. If we do lose the 50 and we start seeing what we see over here, okay, this would indicate that we could possibly be running out of steam and we have a sharper correction ahead. But so far, I don't see that happening. Again, we'll revisit this in a couple of days and see how the technicals are holding up. But as far as the way this move is going, again, nothing damaging here. This is perfectly normal for an up move of this size and normal to see some consolidation at this point before another leg higher. Now, do keep in mind, we do have this trend line above here, which would, if we run up into it relatively soon, takes us north of 10K into those 11Ks. So interesting reaction just above us here, so that we need to keep an eye on for this move. All right, now if we look at the delta, here's something interesting with our delta chart. And again, we share this in the room. The Orlando attendees got this indicator. But you'll notice normally when we move up and the delta is showing us to be short condition, when we have a move and a break up like this, typically we see it flip to buy mode, right? We didn't really get that. We got one period where it went to buy mode, but we don't like one period. We want to see three bars of confirmation to confirm the bull mode is on. We just didn't get that on this move up. So that was a heads up that possibly there was some weakness in this bounce and that this correction consolidation wasn't over. So that was an interesting thing to note. We are back at the 4-hour 200 period moving average, and I do see a condition setting up where we're going to be similar to how we pulled back into here and we had a bounce up. I see the same technical setting up here. However, being that it is a short condition, the first approach of the moving average, the slower moving average at 97.61 up to 98.94, 9900, those are going to be areas that are probably going to see some short attempts first. So I don't expect this to rip right back up. I think we're going to run into some bears here and a push down. But I think eventually this bottom that we've just seen put in here around this 4-hour 200 period moving average does hold, and we'll see another move like this up. Again, keep in mind, we are in a larger up move. We are heading into halving. Okay, GBTC, a little double top on the actual underlying GBTC itself, but you'll notice premium. Okay, we came from the area where you want to accumulate and buy. That's where we bought in the room, and we're just pushing up into this area now where you get resistance right at this level, and then you'll start seeing that premium, like back here, pushes into those zones. Okay, and I think that's the next move here. So if Bitcoin does recover, I think we see another push up into the upper range here on GBTC, and honestly looking for about $13.80. That would coincide with a rebound here in Bitcoin and then a final premium surge into this overbought zone. And if we can get that around 1380, I think that's a good spot to take advantage of this rise up and let this thing reload so we can buy a dip on a premium dip down to around this 25% area. But so far, the premium levels here indicating that the dips in Bitcoin should be bought still. Now, if we look at the on-chain data, okay, so over here we have our beam indicator. Remember we talked about the beam bands. They do a real good job of catching the bottoms and tops of the Bitcoin cycles. And key here was the beam indicator, the lower indicator, breaking the trend line. And so that's in play. And what we would like to see in these periods then is that the beam indicator does not drop below this 15 line and stays up here. So far so good on that. And then we have the NVT, which is kind of like your PE ratio, how it looks at the on-chain transaction volume. And you'll notice that we broke the signal line up, which is what we want to see. Now at this point in the cycle, we want to see this NVT not break that signal line. So we want to keep an eye on this for the next couple of weeks for this to hold and continue higher. Okay, so if it does break, then that can signal what happened back at the previous high of 14,000, and you get a longer term consolidation pullback. And that would be something that would be probably unexpected, because I think everyone is expecting Bitcoin to continue to grind a bit more as we get a little closer to May. Before May, just before May, through May, a pullback would be expected. As far as the mining bands, remember the mining bands? Now we said that we expect hash power to continue to rise. Why? Because people are swapping out old gear, gaining the new gear ahead of halving, getting those costs out of the way. Plus, it helps them mine more at the current halving reward, which will be cut in half. So you want to get your new gear online as fast as possible. So we're seeing a continual grind up on the hash power, which is fine. That's to be expected. Bands are starting to get a little pinchy here. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on this as well. So we have some things that we need to keep eyes on the on-chain data that we don't want to see happen. We don't want to see the NVT cross the signal line, and we need to know if this minor capitulation signals again, because when that does signal, typically we see a drop in price. So over the course of the next couple of videos, guys, we're going to keep tabs on this. So over the next couple of weeks, should be real telling to see if this is becoming an issue or not for the price of Bitcoin. And then on the gap chart, you'll notice what we did this prior to this move down. Futures, this wasn't so much reflected, this price action in spot, but futures spiked up, big swing failure there. Then the spot price action and futures synced up and we had this big dump. So interesting games, jam up into the gap close, and then now we've dropped. I don't have any half gap lines in this area, so it'd be interesting to see how this plays out in here. But again, I think these lows, based on the technicals, should hold and we consolidate. And then we'll see what kind of price action we get over the weekend. But these gaps have been closing relatively quickly. I mean, if you look at this gap here, It didn't take us too long. That closed. This gap closed quite quickly, and this gap closed quite quickly as well. So they're not taking too long to close. They're definite targets that need to be respected for sure. So anyway, gap close, rejected. Now we're consolidating down here. Do expect that to hold. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, please leave them below. Again, moving up into halving, still in the bite of the dip mode, and but at first I think we're going to see, like on the Delta chart showed us, we'll probably see some resistance if we bounce up into that 97, 9800 area. Expect them to try to short that and push that back down, but these lows ultimately hold this week. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Please hit like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Trade Genius.